Chinese nationals and non-Chinese Canadians for potential marriage fraud. Joining us now to discuss the policy is immigration lawyer Stephen Mearns. Stephen, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
So just first off, what was your reaction when you first heard about this happening?
Well, when I uncovered the training manual on how to spot marriage fraud, I actually just posted it to my blog as an example of a list of different aspects that officers are trained to look for. And the first two, one of them was Chinese people marrying non-Chinese, another was when Canadians are poor. And I didn't really think much of it when I posted it to the blog, but the reaction on social media from a lot of people who are experiencing delays was that they felt unfairly targeted and that it affirmed suspicions that they deeply held.
Now, you said that you uncovered this training manual talking about, these certain, I guess you would say, red flags. How did you actually find this manual?
I was through an access to information request for internal government training manuals. And the request was just basically all the training material that's not publicly available for one office in Alberta.
Is it legal for immigration officers to be doing this, to have, this kind of checklist of certain things that they should be looking out for?
Well, I'm not sure that officers are actually applying the checklist. Certainly if they were making decisions that actually said, someone is a Chinese person married to non-Chinese, this can't be genuine, that would be illegal, I would say. I haven't seen any decisions that would actually say that. My suspicion is that for the most part, the officers probably and hopefully just ignored this part of their training.
Mm-hmm. Tell me why this is so concerning for you.
It's more the part to me that's concerning is the fact that I have to hope that officers did ignore their training. It's concerning to me that people in the department were actually training officers that this is how they should assess files. Again, I don't necessarily think that officers followed through with their training. I'm sure as soon as they started assessing files, they realized that that part of their training was ridiculous. But the fact that people in the department thought that this was how officers should assess files is puzzling to me, to say the least.
That being said, there must be a reason why they're focusing in on this particular group. From your experience, from information that you've maybe come across before, is this a segment where you're seeing a lot of marriage fraud? Do you think is that why Citizenship and Immigration Canada is focusing on this group?
I wouldn't say that Chinese married to non-Chinese is any higher instance of questionable marriages than any other group. Marriage fraud certainly does exist and is a big concern for everyone, the Government of Canada, lawful immigrants, people who are genuinely married. I wouldn't say that any of the indicators on their list are actually areas that are more likely to be engaged in fraudulent marriages.
Now, you mentioned that there was some couples who had been experiencing very long delays. What kind of delays are we talking about that you've seen?
In the past about year, the wait time for inside Canada marriage applications has gone from about 6 months to over 2 years.
Interesting. Do you think that this might expand to other groups?
I certainly hope not. The department says they have new training materials. They haven't released them. Probably take another access to information request to get the current training materials, but I'd be very surprised just because I don't see the actual value that this has to officers because it is so far removed from what's actually going on and where I think more of the targets of marriage fraud are occurring.
All right. That is immigration lawyer Stephen Mearns joining us via Skype today. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, my pleasure.